Good evening, everybody. This is New Era Gardener, and it is Thursday, the 25th. I'm a little late on getting my getting my seedling mix going, but I'm gonna get it going now. We're probably about a week or two behind on when I like to get it started. I like to make it ahead of time. But nevertheless, we're gonna get it going now. So we're gonna make a batch up. So, all right. So first, I have my two mediums, Coco Coir. This is 3 pounds. So I'm gonna start with 3 pounds. We're gonna do 3 pounds. And we're going to do 2 pounds of word castings. I would have liked to have had it reversed, where I had 2 pounds of coconut coir and 3 pounds of worm castings. But this is all I have left at this time until I harvest some bins. So we're just going to start with this. So that'll work out good either way. And maybe just before I get ready to start to use it, I'll add some more worm castings. You know, these worm castings feel nice and silky, so that tells me that the ratio of worm castings to the compost and bedding that's in here is very high. So that's a good thing. So I'm not concerned about that. But to me, this is a little more coconut coir than I like to start with. But that's all right. So I'm just gonna pour my 3 pounds coconut coir in my mixing bowl here. And coconut coir is good to use. Plants seem to love it. I'm not gonna add any biochar to this. This is just a seedling mix, so I'm not concerned about that. So like I said, we got 3 pounds there. I'm gonna add 2 pounds of my worm castings, fresh worm castings, and I'm just gonna mix that up. Like I said, I would have liked to have it the other way. 2 pounds of coconut coir and 3 pounds of worm castings, but that's all right. We can always add more castings at the end, so I'm not concerned about that. Whatever you want to use, whatever ratio you like to use, you can use that. But that's the ratio I like to use. So I'm just going to mix this up real quick. Usually I have my gloves on, but as you see, I forgot my gloves. But that's all right. It's just going to be a quick video. I'm making your... And if you had some old... seedling mix that you didn't use from last year that you made up yourself, and as long as you kept it moist in a sealed container or a plastic bag, they would still be good as long as they're still moist. And then you can rejuvenate it by just adding some worm castings to it. That'll make your mix real good. So that's all we did. We added 3 pounds to 2 pounds, and that's good. This isn't a big batch, but it'll get me started. Like I said, I'm a little behind. I would have liked to already got my peppers, at least my peppers started, and my eggplant. They take a little longer. So I would have loved to have gotten it done a week or two ago. But sometimes we don't have the time to do things when we want to do it. So we got to do it when we do have the time. So tonight I made some time to do it because I need to get these things started. So, all right, so that's pretty much it. So what we're also going to add is we're going to add some rock dust. This is 1 ounce of rock dust. Rock dust is good. It mineralizes your soil. So that's what you want to do. You want to make your soil as good as possible. At the same time, the plants will uptake the minerals in this. As we all know, rock dust is good. It actually has a lot of minerals in it. It's not a lot of rock dust. It's only 1 ounce that I'm adding to it. So we're just gonna mix that up. And because it's the seedling mix, you're probably saying that, wow, that's not a lot of rock dust, 1 ounce for the amount that I'm putting in. If you look at most of your directions on rock dust or any other, it might tell you only put in, 1 ounce per, whatever, 12 inch pot. So we're gonna act like this is a 1 inch, this is gonna fill a 1 inch pot. But it's gonna fill a little more than that for what I'm using it for. So also we're gonna add a little bit of lime. This is about a 1/2 ounce of lime. Lime is good for a lot of things. It good for your soil, alkaline, if it bring up the pH or lower the pH. But in the seedling mix, there's actually a lot of different things it has. It also has calcium in it. So we're adding some calcium to the soil, the castings and the coconut coir. So we're adding some calcium, we're adding some magnesium, which is good for your plants. Once again, also, it's the uptake that your plants are gonna actually get. So that's a good thing. And it also has silica in it. And silica is good for your plants to also help them take up the nutrients and help the roots. So we're just gonna add, we didn't add a lot. So the last thing I'm gonna add, because we're doing, this is our seedling mix, I'm gonna add 1 ounce of bat guano. And bat guano is great. It's has nitrogen in it also, but not a high concentrate of nitrogen in it. It has enough nitrogen where it's not gonna burn your plants. And the amount that I'm putting in is probably about 1 ounce, maybe 3/4 of an ounce. And what the bat guano is also gonna do is we're at the rooting stage. So bat guano is good for all stages of your plants. It's good for also for the budding and flowering, but we're not there yet. We're just starting out. So we're at the point of right now of the vigorous roots. Once the seeds start to open up and put out roots, this is gonna help. That's gonna help with the root growth. So it's really gonna adhere itself to the roots as the roots start to go. And it's actually gonna help you out with your root growth, give you good root growth. It wasn't a lot that I put in there. I probably would have put a little more in, but for the sake of just doing these peppers, I just wanted to get something going. And what I like to do is, I mostly everything I do, I like to do it ahead of time, let it sit for a week or two, and let it marinate, let everything kind of combine to it. This is why you like to wear gloves, get a lot of the dirt and stuff on your hands. So I'm also gonna put in probably about 2 tablespoons of mycorrhizin. That's also going to help with the roots. And that, excuse me, that's what you want. You want to put something that's going to help your root growth, so your roots get extremely big. And then as you start to get to the next step, which is your transplant mix, and you have some nutrients, some real nutrients in there, some some real good amount of food in there. This mycorrhizin is going to help the roots and adhere to the roots and let the roots really be able to take up the nutrients a whole lot better. So that's a good thing. You always want to kind of add something in for the roots. And we added the bat guano, and we also added the mycorrhizin. And the difference is you can add a seabird guano, in there, which is also going to help with, that has more phosphorus. So your root crops love that. So that's always another good thing to add. The next thing I'm going to add is I'm going to add a couple of handfuls of vermiculite. Vermiculite is smaller. It's not going to weigh down the plants. It's going to give it enough room for the roots to continue to grow. But vermiculite's also going to hold moisture. So that's a good thing. Yeah, that's perfect. That's enough for me. I don't need to add too much, but that's perfect. It's all throughout. And it'll keep the soil nice and airy for new seedlings to continue to set their roots. So that's good. And then when I do the transplant mix, I'll add different other minerals in it. We'll add some kelp in it. We'll add some alfalfa meal. Maybe some fish emulsion or the fish meal. And give it some more minerals that it can actually really. And then we'll mimic the same thing I put in here as far as the rock dust and the mycorrhizin and the bat guano, because you want to have that same base that you have when you made your seedlings. So they're getting the same thing when you're getting your seedling mix, when you get your transplant mix done. And then I might even add some manure into it and some compost. Usually mine consists of worm castings, compost, lime again, a little bit of lime, not much, some lime, and then some, I did say bat guano already, some bat guano, and that's what we'll add to it. And that'll give it the same complex that it had, the same structure that it had for the seedlings. So it's not missing anything. It's got the same thing. It's happy. It's saying, oh, I'm not missing anything. Oh, I got everything that I need. I even have some extra, so I can feed myself. I can eat, and then I'll make some worm tea, compost tea with some other minerals in it, and that's what I'll feed them. So I'll make small batches. I don't like to have my compost sitting around too long after it's been aerated. So I like to be able to use what I need. I'll feed my wife's plants with it, and I can still let it sit around for a week. I'll add some sugar to it, and if I have to, I'll put it in a bottle, put a little sugar in it, and I'll just shake it up, and you'll see that stuff just start to foam up. And you'll see that the bottle will start to expand because that's the microorganisms in the compost tea being fed and they're growing. So that's, to me, that's the little trick that I do. Put a little bit of sugar in it, a little bit of molasses, shake it up real good, and that also keeps it alive, even though it's not being aerated. But I'm not letting it sitting around for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm letting it sit around for about a week, just to feed the plants. So, and usually I just top feed them with the compost. I don't put it into the reserve and things like that. So, but these are the trays that I use. I'll fill these up. They have a reservoir on the bottom. You can fill that with your regular, just plain water. There is a mat that goes over there. I do have the mat over there. I didn't bring that. And then you put this on top. You fill these up and put your seeds in them, and you allow it to just grow. And then you can fill this up with water. It takes about a half gallon to a gallon of water. And then you just let it go. What I'll do is when I start to feed them any type of compost or liquid fertilizer, what I'll take and do is I fill this, but I don't fill the reservoir up full. I allow the reservoir to be kind of low, and then this way when I top dress them with the liquid fertilizer, that fertilizer is going to go down, and then I fill this up again, just so that I'm not over watering them. You don't want to overwater your seedlings. So too much water is just as much damage as not enough water. But that's what I use, and that works out great. All right. So once again, this is New Era Gardener, and this is how I make my seedling mix. To me, that's perfect. Probably, like I said, at the end of the week when I go to harvest my worm castings, probably tomorrow night, I'll add another pound or 2 of worm castings to this because I do like it to be more worm castings than coconut coir. So, but you can do whatever you like. If you like more coconut coir, then that's fine. I like more worm castings than coconut coir. All right. Once again, this is New Era Gardener. Thanks for watching, and we have seedling mix. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening.